So Benjamin was asking about the final or primary energy. I just now check whether I open again. Sorry, just to disturb, but I wanted to check what kind of yeah. Okay, so you mentioned the 45 kilowatt hour per square meter per year. We usually talk about final energy. So this is not the primary energy. We are talking about the space heating, for instance, in general, when we talk about kilowatt hour per square meter per year. So I'm going back. So it's final energy, this question of Benjamin. And that's why what we believe is that it's important to combine the efforts on energy efficiency with the decarbonization of the energy system. So in situation where you have district heating, for instance, it's obviously good if district heating is fed or provided through renewable energy sources, definitely. But what we measure at the dwelling level is the final energy. We have some tools to help to monitor the energy consumption. The question of Antoine: what is the share of the building stock held by individuals? Are the solutions proposed suited for them? Can a policy scheme excluding the individual owner tap a large share of their building efficiency potential? So that's a very interesting and very good question. Indeed, I mentioned briefly in my presentation that we represent about 11% of the total housing stock. At the European level, around 70% of the stock is owned by people. I mean, we have 70% of homeowners at the European level, and you may be in a country where you have less or more, but that's basically a common feature. And indeed, the key challenge is not, the key challenge doesn't seem to be in the social housing sector, particularly also because the social housing sector in general have a better energy performance than the private rental and than the home ownership sector. So how can the policy make sure that the individual homeowners will be incentivized to refurbish their own homes? So we're not speaking for homeowners, but what we can see from here is that you have a number of fiscal incentives. I mean, if you're in Belgium or in every country, you have a number of fiscal incentives that urge or incentivize people to do the refurbishment. It seems that finance is one key aspect. Tax rebate is very powerful. And the idea of having a third-party investor entity, a public one, is also to allow homeowners, in the case of multi-family buildings, but to allow homeowners to do the refurbishment. Some of the very interesting scheme on refurbishment of dwellings has to be found in Eastern Europe, where you have 80% on average of homeowners, and still in those countries, the European money has been delivered via a bank that will give then loans to people, but loans at a good rate. So subsidized loans to individual homeowners or to an association of homeowners is another way to go. So now I see all the questions coming in.
Julian, I've put them all on the screen. I don't know if you're looking. Okay, good.
I see.
Okay, very good.
I see. What counts as refurbishment for the average figure of 6.2? Are we talking about insulation, doors, and windows, or could it simply be work in the interiors? Also good questions. When we talk about a refurbishment, we talk about insulation, doors and windows. We do not specify whether the roof has been insulated, but generally when we, for instance, take the example of the Netherlands with their new Transition Zero project, Energy Sprong, they do everything. They do insulation, they do doors, window, they do the roof, and they have also in the interior have some improvement. So we do not have a full list of works in our figures, but we can provide to you. So I'm sure that in one way or another we can contact us at the end, and we can have we can send to you some information. Have you seen interest from transnational banks to fund energy refurbishment projects? The only bank at the moment we work with, which has a transnational feature, is the European Investment Bank, and to a lesser extent the Council of Europe Development Bank, and the EIB, which is a public bank of the European Union, is doing a lot of activities on refurbishment of social housing, also on the new construction of social housing. But they are public banks. It means that they require a lower rate of return, and the conditions are better, usually better than commercial banks. So indeed, the key challenge is to provide and to find what I call low-cost capital funding. But how to do that with commercial banks, which usually require a high rate of return, or they require collateral in one way or another. That's why for the moment we really push the public sector to deliver on that, because we believe that's the only one that can basically fill the market failure here. About the combo hus activity in Sweden, we can have an exchange directly via email, but the basic point is that combo hus in Sweden is a nationwide procurement whereby the social housing company, the public housing company, have procured for the new construction of and refurbishment of a very large number of dwellings, and they have made this procurement with a single group of companies, and in the first round with one single company. So the National Federation in Sweden has managed to have this nationwide procurement, and they have had a reduction of costs of around 25% thanks to this large-scale activity. So I go quickly because we are running out of time a bit. Can you give me an example of local third-party fund supporter in energy stock refurbishment in the Netherlands? Good question. In the Netherlands, I don't know. I don't know. I have to. I'll take note of the question, and you'll find out my coordinate on the website of Housing Europe, and maybe we kind of exchange on that. But I don't know precisely for the Netherlands. I took the example of France because it's quite recent, and France has developed a local third-party investor entity at the regional level, and now they want to promote it at the national level with their new law. So that's it. So again, if you want to contact me directly, please contact me at julien.dijol@housingeurope.eu. I'm happy to respond to your individual questions. Now it's time for me to give the floor to actually Steve. Steve is now here, and happy to have you on board, Steve. So